In this chapter we're going to talk about configuration of VPVision, the I/O modules and the connected sensors. When you buy VPVision, you will find a list of the pre-programmed IP addresses of the VPVision M unit and the supplied I/O modules. You will need that list for initial configuration of the devices. If all went well, you also got a list from your IT department with the IP addresses you can use for programming into the I/O modules. Those are the IP addresses that are valid to be used throughout the company network. So now we have all information, we can proceed with programming in the IP addresses in the devices. First you have to switch on the power. There is a circuit breaker switch inside the VPVision cabinet which you can flip and then the power should be on. You will hear a very low beep sound when the computer starts up, and you will see that the LEDs on the computer will start to blink. Now you know that it's alive and you can connect your laptop to LAN port number 1. That LAN port has a pre-configured IP address which you can find on the configuration sheet. Please keep in mind that your laptop has to be in static IP address mode and it should have an IP address in the same range as the VPVision unit, but it should be not the same. Once you have programmed in the right IP address into your laptop, you can open a web browser, type in the IP address of the VPVision and you should see the start screen. Now it's time to configure your Ethernet settings. First of all, click on the green puzzle icon and enter the password for the admin. So you are entering the configuration panel of VPVision. Now go to the Ethernet settings and you will see a list of 4 Ethernet ports. Port number 1 is the port you are using right now to connect to VPVision, and that port should never be changed because it's used for configuration. Port number 2 is used for the local I/O module which is in the VPVision cabinet. Also that port should not be changed. Now you can use port number 3 and 4 to connect to your company network. So assign an IP address to, for example, port number 3. Use the list provided by the IT department to have the right IP address. Once you're finished with configuring the port number 3, disconnect your laptop from port number 1, connect it to port number 3 and try the IP address. First set your laptop in the same IP range, open your browser, type in the IP address and see if you can find VPVision. If that works properly, then you're done with configuration. You can also connect VPVision to the internet directly, but we strongly recommend always to use a VPN modem to do that. In that case you could connect your VPN modem to LAN port number 4 and connect it in the same way, assign an IP address and then you should be able to connect to the internet and access the system from remote. So now it's time to configure the sensors and the remote I/O modules. In this stage you also will need the IP address list provided by the company IT department with the pre-approved IP addresses for the remote I/O modules and Ethernet-based sensors. You also might want to take a look into the specific user manuals of the I/O modules to find, for example, the default access password for the configuration panels. When you're configuring the IP addresses, you also can configure things like the analog input settings of the I/O modules, or with a Modbus device, Modbus converter, you might want to set the baud rate for the RS-45 network at the right number. And for a Flowscope M you can already program in the diameter. So for each device you can prepare everything before you go into the field, and that will save you time later on. Once you've done the IP configuration, you can test it through the web browser. If you type in the IP address, you should be able to find the Ethernet configuration page of the I/O module or the sensor, but you can also use the ping command to ping the IP address and see if it's responding properly. So now it's time to document everything. So take the configuration sheet and fill in the new IP addresses you assign to the units and make sure that everything is updated and ready to go into the field.